tuned to Evergreen Media Network. I am Cindy Schwartz, and this is the Patient Partner Show. We're a podcast, so look us up on Spreaker and all of the platforms Spreaker has. Jeannie Roll is my co-host. Jeannie, today you brought out a good topic here. We always beat up on the medical system. That's probably not the right words there, but let's be on their side in this episode and say, what do these poor souls go through with burnout? You came up with a good article about the percentage of doctors that are actually burned out and the amount of patients, therefore, that won't be seen because these doctors are no longer available. And also the other thing that is really staggeringly sad is the suicide rate of these medical professionals as well. I mean, suicide for anything, any reason, any scope of the imagination is horrendous, but when you're talking about the medical industry, oh my goodness, that's the ones that it's fixing the rest of us. But, what do those poor souls do to fix themselves? I mean, and there's a lot of drug addiction and things like that as well. I know we've talked about that too. But this burnout, this is a serious subject, Jeannie.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you consider about 400 physicians die each year by suicide, that's a high number, and that rates of depression among medical students is 15 to 30% higher compared with the general population.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's a lot there. And then once they get out of med school, then they have to deal with all the regulations such as pre-authorization and trying to go through all the hoops to provide care via insurance, Medicare, whatever. So, I mean, there is a lot there, and we've talked more than a few times about private ownership of these physician firms, and where they basically become an employee rather than owning their practice themselves.
Right.
And those more than half of practices surveyed in the last 3 years have lost a physician to burnout.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's real, it's out there. And of course, then there's the financial burden, because if a lot of times when they're in one of those private equity firms, they don't make the money that they would have made it if they had owned a private practice too. So, and the high debt that they end up with once they finish med school.
Yeah.
So there's a lot there, a lot to unpack.
There is a lot there, and there is. And we talk about that a lot, you and I, Jeannie. I mean, kudos to the ones that are doing a good job out there. We do bring to the forefront a lot of these horrific cases because there are a lot of it, and they need to be talked about, and they need to be fixed is really what it is. You don't know about it, you can't fix it, right? But these poor people on the medical front, another thing that a lot of the doctors here where I live in South Florida is they're going in the concierge medicine. And not a lot of people can afford that. They can't. I can't afford it. But then they keep their clientele, their patient load down. They're more in charge. And the other thing some doctors here do is they've banded together and started their own clinics. 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 doctors. There's an ortho clinic here that's phenomenal. Ones that do colonoscopies and stuff, there's 5, 6, 7 doctors in that practice. So, and those that I've been to, the care is excellent. Absolutely excellent. I mean, I wouldn't go to another place. So I do feel sorry for them that have to work for corporate, if you will, and those hoops. And you get 10 minutes. I can name one big corporate account right now, which I'm not going to, that my own doctors told me they literally get like 8 minutes for a patient. And one other doctor I had as a GP, I don't have that doctor any longer, told me she had like 3,500 patients. So, I mean...
Right, and they say that the average patient load for a doctor is somewhere between 2,500 and 3,500 patients.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I don't know how you even keep that straight on any given day in the time of whatever. I don't know how they keep it straight. And so, hence the data that these doctors are committing suicide and becoming dependent on drugs or, whatever. I can see it. I can see it as the end result. I mean, we have to take care of them that take care of us. It's got to be more. There has to be more of these stories that go out there and more investigation and whatever. It can't all be about money. How many times have we said that, Jeannie? 800 million times. It cannot be all about money.
Yeah. Well, one solution that they are having to burn out is more and more physicians are going to the direct primary care model. And that's what we talked about a few years ago with the one doctor and this one doctor in this article says he charges adults $93 per month and children $30 per month. No one pays co-pays or deductibles, and there's no billing of the insurance. But for a lot of people, that's not affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Because on the same hand, then you would have to carry insurance in order to go to the hospital if you needed to.
You need catastrophic care. You need catastrophic insurance. I've had people on different doctors on different shows that have gone the concierge, and you do have to still hold that kind of policy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that in your state of Florida, they recently, one of your lawmakers talked about, that they are dismayed that more and more physicians are switching over to direct primary care and concierge models. But, I see it as a plus. I see it as them being able, it gives more competition to these corporate owned physicians.
Yep.
To maybe change how they are dealing medicine rather than just keep on doing what they're doing. Maybe they're going to have to change too.
Well, how many times have you and I talked about, Jeannie, on these podcasts that if you don't have the customer, what are you going to do with your business? And patients at the end of the day are customers. So if these big box medicine places are scaring us away or pushing us away because of umpteen reasons, I mean, one of the ones here charges you to use the machine. So if you need a CT scan, you got to pay to use that machine too. Well, I'm going to tell you how many people that have refused now to go to that particular radiology clinic, and we've all switched to another one in town. We don't go to that one anymore. So how long are you going to stay in business if that's the kind of business that you're doing? And you're ripping the public off kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and on another side of that is this physician in Florida talked about he had to go and get loans in order to meet payroll because, Medicare payments, insurance payments just wasn't making his payroll. So, I mean, there's a lot of things going on that we don't see. And it needs to be changed because that's something that someone like that shouldn't have to worry about is they should be more worried about the patients and not have to worry about all the other stuff. Yeah,
that's just compounding the whole nightmare of what it already is a nightmare when they're just trying to give good care. Because like we said, there's so many people out there that are trying to do the right thing and they do give good care and they're human beings at the end of the day. And they do have to study how long. I couldn't go to school that long to try to learn this stuff. I mean, they're entitled to make a decent living because of what they've put in for everything as well. They are. You got no gripe from me at all. I mean, there's nothing like a really good doctor, really good nurse, medical worker. I mean, you get better right away. And them having to jump through these hoops. I mean, the whole insurance industry needs to be revamped. I mean, that's a topic for 1,800 shows right there. I don't think we'll have a person that would argue with us about that whatsoever. We could do a show on the history of when it started, the insurance, because, I mean, I'm old enough to remember when there really wasn't a ton of insurance. It was like that was a really good job or a union job if you had hospitalization. Most of us didn't have it back in the 50s, 1950s, 60s, from what I remember people saying in my family. That was a big perk. So when did it get to be my word, my opinion exploited? And that's what it seems like it is now. Now it's like a given. And people are coerced into getting this. Why do we have to have that? Because medical bills are so high. Why are they so high on some of the stuff? That's a topic for another time. But these doctors, specifically we're talking about today, committing suicide and being, burnt out with all they've gone through. I mean, kudos to the ones that are doing a good job. And what can we do to fix this? On that note, stay listening to Evergreen Media Network.